Alright guys, what up? Look at what I got here. New Spyderco. This is the Domino. Just came out. I was lucky. Seen a few of these floating around, pictures of them. A few people have got pre-orders in from various dealers. I was at Blade HQ today. And yes, y'all should be jealous that I live close enough to Blade HQ to drive down there. It's about a half-an-hour drive, but it's definitely worth it. So I'm chilling in Blade HQ, talking to the guys like I usually do, handling some knives. I asked, hey, do you have those new dominoes in? He's like, oh, you know, we haven't seen those come in yet. So I'm looking at some other knives, and then I got an email on my iPhone, and I looked at it, and it was a notification that they had dominoes in stock at Blade HQ. And I'm like, hey, you guys just got dominoes. And both of them looked at me like, what? And then sure enough, he looked them up, and there they were. And he went and grabbed me one. They had 39 of them, and they are sold out. This is a hot knife. I've only seen one other video on YouTube. It was like a 2-minute video by a dealer. So I wanted to do it in HD, do some quality time. Now this isn't a review. I just got the knife earlier today. But it is an overview. And look how, I mean, that scale is just really cool. Look how that moves. It just kind of gives you like that optical illusion almost on that carbon fiber. Really hot. I mean, I was super skeptical of this knife. People have been talking about it in the forums, and I've been like, yeah, seems like it's kind of expensive for what you get. Seems like it's too small. Yeah, the carbon fiber they use isn't the legit carbon fiber. Then I handled this knife in the store. I had to check it out. Once I knew they had one in stock, I had to check it out. And I flipped this little guy, and I was like, whoa. Smooth, nice flipper. I mean, not too surprising. The Southern has a really good flipper, but this actually is better than the Southern by quite a bit. It's got a good detent. Look at that, you get pulling it. So it's got to break that detent. And if you push it down, it flies out, no problem. It's actually quite smooth out of the box. I have to shake it a little bit, but it'll close. Or you can flip it back like that. It just doesn't fail. I mean, the flipper always flips. This is out of the box, guys. I haven't done anything. I haven't modified it. I haven't touched the pivot. I haven't oiled it. I haven't done anything to it. It's a great flipping action. I mean, awesome. I would say it's as good as my ZT801, which is pretty much one of the best flipping actions out there on a phone, on a knife, on a phone. Jeez, listen to me. It's late. Anyway, so I had a few people on Instagram. I did like a quick video in my car of it and took some pics. And hey, you can do video, you can do video. So here's the overview video. This is not a review. Again, this is an overview. So let's talk about the Domino. So it's a flipper, obviously. It's got the titanium frame lock, like the Southern. It has a steel insert that is replaceable. There's a little screw there to replace that. So that is replaceable steel insert. You got your pocket clip for tip up, tip down. Looks like a right hand carry. Nope, left and right hand carry. So you got 4-way pocket clip. That's a nice feature. It's your typical Spyderco one. It's black. I mean, it actually looks good against this. And the frame is a nice stone acid wash. Actually, it's more of an acid wash than a stone wash. I mean, look at that. Let's get some focus. There we go. Get some nice HD shots there. Really cool acid wash on that frame. I dig that quite a bit. It's real smooth. One thing I really liked that I've noticed is all the screws are recessed into the scale. So you get that real smooth, you don't have, it's like that CC, that Strider thing. You don't get that even on the titanium side. The pivot, the body screws are all flush. You don't feel them. So it's got a super smooth feel to it. So this makes a great carry knife. I mean, a really good EDC knife. The carbon fiber is just really neat on this. It's really different. I mean, I really dig it. You got your standoffs. You got an open flow-through design. Get your lanyard tube there, which you could probably remove if you're not going to use a lanyard, and you have more of an open tube design. I'll have to check that out once I take it apart. But like I said, just got it today, so this is kind of an overview, impressions. Look at that left-handed flip, no big deal. Let's talk about the blade. So it's got, now they claim it's just barely over 3 inches, but tricky Spyderco that they are. Now some manufacturers tell you, hey, it's a 3.5 inch blade, but really they're measuring the blade to the handle, and you're only getting, you know, so much cutting surface. So Spyderco claims this is a 3.13 inch blade. Well, if you look, that's pretty dang accurate, because that's actually going to the tip of the blade. Now if you go back to the handle, you can see that that's about a 3.5 inch blade total, but your cutting edge is 3.13, so they're actually giving you the cutting edge. So, which is obviously, you know, what we use knives for, is the cutting edge, you know. But I've noticed that a lot of manufacturers will say, oh yeah, it's got a 3.5 inch blade. Then you actually measure it, the cutting edge, and you're like, oh, that's only like 3 inches, you know. A lot of it, they're talking about the flipper, where the flipper is. One thing you'll notice too is the flipper does not come down very far. He barely pokes out of the scale here. Now if you look at like the 801, your flipper's pretty pronounced. On the 560 it hangs down quite a bit. Most flippers hang down quite a bit. You even have a cryo here, a cryo 2. The flipper hangs down quite a bit, which gives you a nice finger protection, right? Well, the Domino has a nice choil. And look at these grooves. I mean, this thing is super ergonomic. Now here's an in-hand shot. 4 fingers, no issue. For me, this is the perfect size knife. Now I have medium-sized hands. If you have large hands, you can still use this knife because you got this forward choil that you can choke up on the knife. You know, you got that much handle hanging back. The choil is actually really comfortable and I can see why that'd be really useful to getting some good pressure on a cut. You get your full flat ground blade. Your typical slicer. I mean, this is a Spyderco knife, true and true. It's got that nice flat ground blade, that leaf-shaped blade. It looks a lot like the Sage series. It's super sharp. I haven't cut a thing with this yet. It's crazy sharp. I don't need to. I can probably almost just about cut my finger. So it's got a leaf shape. It's got a really wide blade. You know, you got a pretty good size, you know, blade there as far as width goes. But it's also really, it's pretty thin. It's got a decent blade stock. I mean, I would say it's pretty close to the Paramilitary 2, which I also got today in a trade. Yeah, pretty similar blade stock. I mean, that's almost exactly the same thickness on the blade. So it's going to be a great slicer. Everyone knows how good the Para 2 is for slicing. So the Domino is going to be a great slicer. It's a little bit shorter blade than the Para, but it's, you know, overall a shorter knife. So let's do a comparison shot with the Para 2 and the Domino. Kind of give you an idea of the size of this knife. Oh, we're kind of out of frame a little bit. There we go. So it's pretty similar. I mean, actually, someone compared it to a Manix 2, which I don't have a Manix 2, but compared it to a Manix 2 in a picture, and it was really close in size to a Manix 2. So it's a little bit shorter in the handle than a Para 2. So it's a good sized knife. You know, it's not that small. It's bigger than a Sage. Like if I don't have a Sage 1 anymore. I sold, you know, I've had a couple, sold them. I had a Chaparral, which is obviously a smaller knife, and this is much bigger. So it's a little bit bigger than a Sage. I'm going to tell you that it's larger than a Sage. Don't have one to compare it to, so I could be wrong, but I don't remember a Sage being that close to the same size as a Para 2 and a Manix 2. So, I mean, actually, your handle lengths are pretty dang close. God, I keep getting... Hold on, we're having some pop-up thing come on the camera. There we go. So they're actually really close in size to a Para 2. So if you like a Para 2 size, good size knife. Let's look at the Cryo 2. Just do the video on this. Overview on that. Stupid tip. So, about the same size as the Cryo 2. Cryo 2, not 1. Obviously the Cryo 1 is much smaller. And here is your ZT801 side by side. Now, I'm thinking about doing a comparison video of these two knives because, in my opinion, these are the two hottest flippers out there right now. They're both under 200 bucks. They both have premium steel, LMAX. This has got the CTX X HP steel. I'm trying to get the freaking camera to focus on that. Come on. So the XHP steel. So they've both got premium steels. Both flippers, both titanium frame locks, both have bearings, run on bearing systems, both have removable steel lock bar inserts. I mean, they're really comparable knives, guys. So if you're in the market I mean, that might be my next video. I haven't done a video on the 801. Love it. This is my carry knife today until I got this and I put this in my pocket. But really comparable knives. One big difference: full tie versus, well, actually, technically, you get a full tie scale here. This is a titanium liner, and then you have the carbon fiber. And the carbon fiber has, what we're talking about, that has a really pretty grippy texture. I mean, it's not real slick. You get some decent grip on there. It's not as grippy as G10, but I mean, G10 doesn't also look that good. I mean, that scale is just dope. I'm just trying to get the lights reflexed off it, just so you kind of see how it's got that optical illusion, that 3D effect going on. Pretty sick. So, really cool knife. I'm actually really impressed with it, and it's super light. I mean, that's one thing that'll kill the ZTN, is it's much lighter. So if you're worried about light, let's see how light it is, just for fun. Well, only if I can get to my scale without bumping my camera. Alright, I'm not going to move the scale just so you guys don't bump the camera, but just right in at 4 ounces. So nothing fancy, this knife's for you. Oh, that's a funny joke. Anyway, oh wait, but you don't like Spyderco's knives this year, so never mind. 4 ounces, super light. So you got a super light, great EDC knife. Flipper, premium steel, super good ergonomics, very comfortable, and the quality is top notch. I mean, this is a Taiwan knife. This is out of the Taichung factory, but some have said, and I might have to agree, that the stuff that comes out of Taichung is actually maybe nicer than what comes out of Golden. You know, I know a lot of people are huge on US made knives. I like US made knives. Para 2 is a US made knife. This is a higher quality knife than a Para 2 though. I mean, I'm going to say it right now. Just because of the materials used, I mean, the attention to detail, the centering, dead centered. Nice lockup, not too early, not too late. Solid as a rock. I mean, Taiwan, man. They hit another home run. Souther was great. Gale Bradley was great. Sage series are great. A lot of good knives coming out of Taiwan. Now, price-wise, it's around 200 bucks. Comparing it to the Souther, which usually goes for like 240, 250, it's a really good value. I mean, you're getting a smaller blade, but you're still getting a titanium frame lock. And actually, you get the additional, I don't believe, no, it doesn't. The Souther does not have a steel insert in there, so that's an extra feature. So if you're looking at a flipper, you want a Spyderco, I'm going to point you towards the Domino. Souther's a great knife. It just kind of got that funky blade shape. Kind of looks like Jim Skelton called it a whales or a rhinoceros penis or something funny like that. And it really does. It has a funky blade. This has got that classic Spyderco shaped blade, that leaf shaped blade. So, and it actually does open with the thumb hole, guys. No problem. Unlike the Souther, that you could open it with a thumb hole, but you didn't have as much, you know, I don't want to call it a choil, but I guess, you know, finger groove right here to open it. If you don't want to use the flipper, you got the Spidey hole, no problem. So you got 2 ways of opening the knife. You got some good jimping up on here, so it's just a great ergonomic knife, man. I mean, I'm really digging it so far. Obviously, honeymoon stage, just got it today. Carries nice. It's got that sweet carbon fiber scale, that reflective scale. You know, titanium. That's nice acid wash on the titanium. That's a nice touch. It's not that bead blast stuff that Kershaw does on some of their knives. CT. So it's a really good little knife. Great flipper. I mean, it flies out. And again, this is out of the box, and it's already close to falling on itself and this is not broken in. I mean, I've only flipped it a handful of times, guys. So Spyderco Domino, first look, first HD video. It's going on 15 minutes now, so I'm going to probably cut it out, but you got some good size comparisons to other knives there. Anything else you wanted me to show you, I can do a follow-up video on it. I'm going to do a review on it once I use the knife for a while, once I carry it, you know, put it through its paces, my normal EDC tasks, which are pretty light, honestly, compared to a lot of people. So, but, you know, want to put it through its paces. So, great little knife, under 200 bucks. Blade HQ is sold out. They had 39, like I said, they sold out already. So, I was pretty lucky to grab one. They're pretty hard to find right now. I know a few dealers have gotten them in. They're flying off the shelves, as typical Spyderco knives do. But I know the Domino has been pretty popular since SHOT Show earlier this year. So anyway, guys, any questions or comments, leave them below, and I'll see you next time.